Well, I've been putting off body work long enough, I guess. That's why I've been doing the interior. It's like, I don't want to sand, I don't want a primer, I don't want to mess with all this filling, but I got to get back on this body work. So, got my spoilers here. They've been sitting around for a while. I sanded them once and then just threw them on the shelf. I'm going to go ahead and put some primer on them. Oh, here's the end caps. Get these primered, get them sanded out, see if I can find any imperfections that need to be taken care of, and I'll fill those or high build prime them, whatever it takes, and get these in primer. I'm not sure if I'm going to paint them first before I paint the car, or if I'm just going to wait till I paint the car and then paint them. I've been told over and over that anytime you paint a car and you paint the pieces separately, it's a different shade. Even though it might be a real subtle shade, it's a different shade. I don't know if I 100% believe that. You know, I've touched up cars that are 10 years old and somebody wrecks them. And I've painted a fender using the paint code from the vehicle, and they match perfectly. The only difference is they're nice, smooth, and shiny compared to what's still on the vehicle. If you wet sand and buff them, they would probably be just like the rest of the vehicle. But either way, I'm gonna get these in primer and go from there. All right, got them all primered. Now I gotta do is sand them and see if I got a little imperfections. Thought I seen one on here, but maybe not. Might just be okay. The end cap's done. All in primer. We'll get these sanded down to 360. And then I'll probably put one more coat, a high build primer on there, and take it down to 400 and decide what I'm going to do paint wise. I need to work on some mirrors. I also need to work on that nose of that car again. My mirrors, I've already got them pretty well knocked down. I just haven't primed them. I mean, they're all the way down to bare metal. Got them taken care of. Just need to go ahead and get them primed. The nose, man, I really hate working on this nose. I can't stress enough how much I hate working on this nose. But I really need to get back on this, or I'm not going to be able to keep moving ahead here. Because I need to stop working on that interior and get this taken care of, and hopefully get the car in paint before the end of summer now. Things have been working out pretty good for me. Originally, I only work on these in the winter time, but with the weather, sometimes it's raining. Well, I can't do outside work on the house or buildings or anything because in the rain. So I come in the shop and work. So it's really been helping me. But I know I'm going to have to start doing some of that work as soon as the weather gets better here. I'll go ahead and post more as I keep moving along. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to paint them spoilers separate or not, but I'll figure it out by the time it's time for that. Hey, welcome back. I did my primer, my wet sanding. This is the only one that came out that didn't need any work done to it. I found no flaws in it. Sanded it down, it's smooth, it's ready for paint. Over here, the center section, right along the bottom edge needed some work. And up in the top here, just a little bit. Other than that, pretty nice. Just a couple little touch-up spots where I had to do little pinholes and things. So we'll have that. And the other one, corner, that one had some little major work from where I had cut it and cut it and had to fiberglass it back together and give it a different shape because it just would not fit my aftermarket quarter panels at all. But they look really good. I thought while I was going to reprimer all these, I might as well do my parking light bezels. I've got them sanded down. They're ready for primer. And my mirrors, got them all cleaned up. Made sure they're ready to go. Go ahead and get those taken care of. Get some primer on those. Then I'll sand those and see how they look and go from there. But like I keep saying, progress is progress, even if it's little baby steps. So I'll get these primered and go ahead and sand those and see if there's any imperfections I need to fix. And I'm sure there won't be. These look pretty good. I don't see anything wrong with them anymore. And get those ready for paint. I've decided I'm not going to paint these parts separate. I'll wait until I paint the car. So I'll get these primered, wet sanded, ready for paint, and then I'll just box them up, wrap them up real good, put them in boxes until I'm ready to paint. Thanks for watching. Okay, before I prime, I thought I'd give you an idea of what I've used. This is my primer gun, and it even has on the side, primer only. I actually drilled out the nozzle on the front a little bit bigger so I can move that volume of high build primer. Otherwise the gun would just plug up and it would never work. And I've got this really cheap thing just to hold my paint gun in that, you know, from Harbor Freight. And this is what it looks like. I just clamp it to the edge of my table. Put a little air regulator on the end. I do have one with the gauge, and I do have water filters you can put on there, but when I'm doing primer, I don't go to that extreme. I do have a little siphon, or I don't think you want to call it siphon, right? Just filters it in case there's big globs of anything in there you don't want in there. And this is the primer I use. It's just a high build primer surfacer. I've used this on so many of my cars. And when I say so many, I've only done like maybe 12 of my own cars. And this is just mixed with reducer, which I buy at the local auto parts store. It's cheap and it's great for reducing the primer. And it works great for me. I've already got some mixed over here in this can. So I'll be using it, and I'll be putting this back in the cabinet. And this is what I do. Just stir stick, strainer, that's what we call them, strainers, and nothing fancy, nothing expensive. You know, like I say, I'm backyard, self-taught basically, and we'll keep plugging away at this. When I get these in primer, I'll be back. All right, all primed up. What I gotta do is wet sand it, wrap them up, put them in boxes, and wait until I'm ready to paint. Spoiler over here. Parking light bezels. And my mirrors. Mirrors and mirror bases. Some of you probably wondering about these really cool paint rack I got. Yeah, it's pretty high tech. I used two of my auto stands for my car lift, and L channel, vice gripped across it, the two of them, and makes for a great paint rack. You can raise it. It's as low as it'll go. Well, it might go one more if you pull the pins, but works out really well for me. And when I have bigger parts, I'll just take another bed frame angle iron there, vice grip the two together and make it even longer, and it works out really well. All right, well, I'm not going to bore you with me sanding and wrapping parts up and putting them away. I still got to start on that nose eventually. I'm still putting that off, but I don't think there's much else to do other than that. Spoiler will be done, all new chrome, so none of that. Oh, I do have the air extractors or the fender vents to do. I need to find those and get those sanded and get them in primer. And like I say, I really need to get on this nose. So guess I'll get started on that as soon as I get those parts sanded over there and put in boxes. Thanks for watching.